So again, just to cover craft sourcing. I don't know if anybody ever seen Titanic 2? No?
I question it.
You what?
I question it.
Okay, all right.
Where did Titanic 2?
It exists. It's fantastic. It was actually on Netflix for a while. I don't know if it still is, but it's basically the exact plot of Titanic. I swear to God, it was like shot in a conference center, and they just kind of like jiggled the camera and like tilted it so you'd think that like it was a boat that was sinking. It's actually pretty good. You should check it out if it's still on Netflix. But and Nickelback doesn't need any explanation. So basically, it's when you're stuck in these ruts, it's kind of hard to just like, okay, what am I supposed to do about it? What do I do? What's different? You can kind of, feel like you're lost in just wandering the tundra, trying to figure out where to go. So I'm just here to kind of help show you the way, and there will be actionable content. So step one to kind of really starting to think about content differently is to start caring. Your content should be care a lot. You should really just be always caring about it, because if you don't care, you can tune out. Step two would be to really prioritize and focus, because if you're looking to change the game on something and you've got a massive client with tons and tons of products and service lines, tackling that entire realm is just going to be a monumental task. So kind of slicing and dicing makes it a bit more actionable. So maybe that's starting with the highest priority products, highest priority services, or conversely, if you have too much oversight, maybe it's starting on the least important products and services, so you can kind of go run around, kind of do your thing without lots of oversight. So just either or. Just the key is to really slice it down so you can make it actionable. Step three is to really start understanding the customer. Because again, when we're talking about, going back to that car analogy, using relevance as a factor, you really need to understand the customer before you can determine if something is actually relevant. I kind of use REI's expert advice here. I don't know if anybody's ever checked those out, but they're awesome, they're amazing. REI really understands their customer, and they build out content just all day long that is pretty interesting, because it outranks Wikipedia and all kinds of stuff. It just destroys the SERPs. And then step four, which is really going to be kind of the tactical part of this presentation, is really going to be building an actual roadmap of these keyword themes. So I will go into detail on that. And then step five is to actually execute. So you take your typewriter to the the coffee shop that nobody knows of yet, and then you just bang it out. So when it comes to actually building the roadmap, there are some tools that you want to have in your toolbox, and those would be a pen and paper, Scrapebox, the Google AdWords keyword tool, Microsoft Excel, and first and foremost, your brain. So getting started, I don't know, I'm always a fan of just unplugging and just hitting pen and paper, pencil and paper, whatever. Just kind of helps let things flow. You can always pretend you're a struggling writer and crumple up the paper and throw it across the room. But what you really want to do is you want to start with kind of your first primary focus area. So whether that's the highest priority product or service line, or it's the lowest priority, you really want to kind of start that out. You want to start mapping that actual customer path to conversion. So this is an example I used for one of our home contractor clients, and it's all about remodeling a kitchen. And I've rented a duplex my whole life. After college, I was what do I know about remodeling a kitchen? But actually, it's kind of interesting, because I ran this by one of my colleagues who just recently redid her kitchen, said I was bang on. So I don't know, maybe that's just some customer understanding, but it's really all about just mapping out that path. And then what you really want to start doing is just kind of start breaking down the various elements of that path. So hang on, maybe I should just give a little insight here. Kind of in the beginning, it starts off with my kitchen sucks. And then it's some years could go by, and then you're wow, my kitchen still sucks. And then maybe you host Thanksgiving and there's no room for everything, and you're just oh my God, I'm done with this, I need to do this. They can really kind of start pricing out, looking at some options, you're getting a little more serious, This kind of lines up really well with the, just the purchasing funnel, as we kind of just work our way down there. Just kind of banging out some of those various elements of that. So then what we want to do is kind of take that and kind of start to refine each of those areas. So as we kind of move down the funnel, top of funnel things, just general information, all the way down to like, I need a contractor who's the best. Just start to really refine that and break out some kind of like root keywords that you're actually going to kind of translate into seed keywords. So the point of like these seed keywords is that you're translating these barely legible ramblings into something that an actual living, breathing human would type into a search box. So once we have these seed keywords, what we want to do is we want to fire up Scrapebox. And I don't know, is anybody here at Marty Weintraub's MnSearch talk? Yeah, so quite a bit of people. This is kind of similar to that, but we're just kind of taking it a layer beyond that. So is anybody unfamiliar with Scrapebox? Everybody's heard of Scrapebox. You haven't heard of Scrapebox? You should check it out, it's awesome. It's kind of a Swiss Army knife of SEO tools, and this is kind of just like 1/10 of what it can do. But basically what we're going to be doing here is this is the keyword suggest scraper, and it's actually going to dump your seed keywords into like the search boxes of about 10 different sites, and then scrape that automatic suggest. So it's pretty powerful when you're starting with just some seed keywords and translating that into like, oh my god, like complete keyword overload. So what you want to do is you want to fire up Scrapebox, you want to dump these seed keywords in, and then scrape. You get this massive list. If you want to get real crazy, you can then transfer it back and then rescrape that so that you can end up with, tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of keywords. You don't have to worry too much about like relevance or, oh my god, is this too obscure or anything like that, because the next step is to dump it into the AdWords keyword tool. And that'll kind of filter out a lot of the crap for you anyways, because what we'll want to be focusing on is a lot of the higher volume things. So what we can do while you're kind of entering these keywords into the keyword tool is that we're able to see what are some of the most popular keywords, what's the search volume, what's the competition, et cetera, et cetera. And once we get there, what's kind of interesting is that even though we have like a bunch, we've got a bunch of keywords here kind of covering the whole gamut of everything you need to do with kitchen remodeling, what's kind of interesting is that a lot of different, you can kind of see some different types of intent coming out. So for example, like we have kitchen remodeling, kitchen renovation, kitchen designer. Those are all pretty like kind of lower down in the funnel. Like somebody's actually already kind of like, all right, like I need a kitchen renovation, or I need a remodeler or something like that. And then we also have some kind of more top of funnel queries in here, like kitchen design ideas or design software or remodeling ideas. So we're kind of seeing some kind of various levels of intent, or some kind of themes emerging out of this. And then not only that, but we're filtering out all that crap because we have quite a things with volume here. So then what we do is we kind of take this and we actually export it into Excel, and then we just kind of like break it down. It's kind of a manual process, and it kind of takes a little while, but like this one, for this one kitchen remodeling project, I don't know, it's gonna be maybe like 3 hours, so I don't think it's like that ridiculous. But it's just kind of a lot of manual, like, hey, all right, here's my informational themes, here are my more transactional themes, and you just kind of break it down. And what we kind of end up with is this, here's kind of more down lower in the funnel where we have more pricing themes. People are getting more into cost estimates. And this client actually happened to be down in Chicago, so we're kind of looking at how that translates to a geo-modified query. But what ends up happening is kind of this wild roadmap just kind of appears, where it's just kind of like, hey, starting here, I've got my informational theme. Here's what I need to be talking about. Here's the volume average competition associated with those. It's everything from, on the informational side, we've got remodeling photos before and after. Then we have some kind of more inspirational themes, getting a little more specific. So this kind of gives you like an absolute roadmap that you could take. You could seriously go home after this, and you could start like, if you were a kitchen remodeler, of course, you could really start to, just start filling in the blanks and developing this content. So like, here's an example of this small kitchen ideas like exploded a little bit. So we could say, hey, if I need a small kitchen ideas page or whatever, I need to talk about designs, I need to talk about remodeling ideas, I need to talk about some before and afters, some pictures, et cetera, et cetera. And then, you can really just start executing and enjoying. It's like, The execution is completely up to you. You know, you can turn this into an editorial calendar. That is, you know, all of your blogging activities, your social postings. You could use it to break down a new service line section, or one of my favorites, you could do like a wiki style, like a Wikipedia style, massive like list of resources, and be like the authority on kitchen remodeling. Or, you know, media is completely up to you. This could be videos, this could be blog posts, it could be Q&As, it could be whatever. It's just, this is like using data to just really decide what you're actually going to be talking about. So that's really all I got. Just a quick recap. Content is important, so care. Make sure you map out a conversion path. Use Scrapebox and Keyword Tool to get a monster list of keywords with volume, and then take that list of keywords and turn it into an actual like keyword theme grid. So thanks again. Here I am on Twitter, or the company on 3D, and I guess we'll be doing questions afterwards. So thank you guys, appreciate it.